Equal versus equitable. What should you do? I had a client come into my office the other day, and I knew it was going to be a really interesting consult because the husband and wife sat on opposite sides of the table. Now, in my office, my table, that is my client centered table, is large. You have to it is almost like a continent size table. I have it because I love to spread all my papers out and I have a lot of papers at signings. So it's a custom made extra, extra large table. So if you need to sit on opposite sides of a table from each other, it is really obvious in my office because you gotta walk all the way around. So the couple comes in and she's mad. She walks all the way around and sits down and says to me, "What do we do? Does inheritance need to be equal or equitable?" And I, of course, say, "Tell me more." So they're in their mid to late 70s. They have no children together. It's a second marriage. He has three children from the first marriage, but it's been a marriage of length. So these two weren't married, in a heartbeat. They've been married for almost 30 years. And the children are now in their like mid 40s, late 40s, 50s. So they've known the kids for a long time. She's known the children mostly as adults. And so I say, "Okay, do you mean equal and equitable between, like, your side of the family and his children?" She says, "No, I wanna make sure everything goes to the kids. I mean between the 3 kids." So I'm like, "Okay, tell me more." So of the 3 kids, that are his kids, all of them, 2 of them are very successful. They went to college, they've gone to school, they have children, they're doing quite well for themselves. The middle child is the daughter, and the middle child is not doing so well. Not because she didn't get opportunities. She went to school, but she made different choices. So she has her bachelor's degree, but she elected to be a stay-at-home mom when she got married, and she married a high-earning man. However, 5 years ago, that high-earning man unfortunately passed away. And he passed away when he was 50, leaving her and their children nothing, almost next to nothing. Just whatever assets they had in the bank. He didn't have insurance. There wasn't anything extra. Didn't think anything bad would happen. Had all of the debts in his name and her name. So here she is, a stay-at-home mom with 2 small kids, and the kids were like 9 and 5 at the time, maybe a little older because now the issue that's showing up is now the kids are teenagers. Um, but they're young, and she is stuck. Like, she's stuck there in school, she's gotta figure out what to do, the husband has passed, and, she is stuck. So the good news is her father, the client sitting in the office, has wealth. He has money. He was a surgeon. He's got money put aside and he doesn't even think twice. I'm going to help my baby girl. So he starts giving her cash. 5 years later, this is when this family is in my office. The second wife is sitting there going, "Okay, it's been 5 years and he's been making her expenses meet every month for the last 5 years." And I don't know, at one point, do you say you've gotten enough of your inheritance already? Like, we've given you enough money. And I don't know if I've got the other 2 kids, at what point does that start to impact their percent? Do we have to make it equal among all the children, even though equal isn't necessarily equitable because it's a gift and the other kids don't need it the way that this one needs it? So it's a heartbreaking story and it's an interesting question. In that situation, I can absolutely see the stepmom side of, we haven't really taught her a lot. She still needs the money. She hasn't figured out how to live in a lifestyle without her husband. She hasn't figured out how to downsize. We're still covering all of that for her. At what point does that money train stop? If he dies, am I still obligated as the spouse to continue to give her the money? Not that I begrudge her, but just I don't want it impacting the other kids. At what point do I say, "Okay, you've had enough and I've got to give to the other 2 that haven't needed anything?" Or do you say equitable is equal? The others don't need, so we don't have to worry about them. This is the one that needs, so this is the one we worry about. And it was an interesting conversation because obviously the 2 of them are on different sides of the fence. And the truth is, it doesn't matter which choice you have. That's completely up to you and your family. The truth is, you just have to be clear with each other and clear with the kids about what it is that you want. But I thought it was an interesting question. Equal or equitable? What is better when you have children that are in different income brackets with absolutely different needs? Do you separate out inheritance so that it becomes equitable? The one who needs more gets more? Or do you make it equal down the line because you love them all equally and equal looks the same no matter what? Leave a comment, let me know. If you like stories like this, hit follow, send me some questions. I'm happy to answer them.